What is going on, lads and lasses? That was a fantastic game of football. Once again, Newcastle United showing exactly why we are the best team in the world, showing why everybody should be afraid of us. And we have done it again tonight at St James's Park. 1-0 winners against Manchester United at St James's Park. 55th minute winner by Anthony Gordon, flash in there again, and he is just banging away goals for Newcastle this season. All the lads tonight, again, credit to them for their effort out there tonight. A fantastic performance by all of the lads once again, and unfortunately we had to see Nicky Pope going off with what looks to be a very serious injury. Hopefully it's not as serious as it looks like, but it looks like it is a shoulder injury. Hopefully, like I say, it isn't as serious as it looked like, because it did look very, very serious the way the physio was taking him off the field, being very careful with his shoulder going off the field. At first, it did look like it was actually a hamstring problem, a knee problem. But then, of course, once he got up and he was being walked off the pitch, you could see, that it looks like it is a shoulder problem. His left shoulder as well. We're just not getting, the rub of the green at the moment with the players on the injury side of things. We need, a little bit more time for the players to get a little bit more fit. Tonight, we did absolutely fantastic against Man United. Don't get us wrong. I see Brad the lad down there in the comments. Hi, mate. Welcome to the channel. Saying hello, United fan here. Well done on your win. Thoroughly deserved. Hope Pope is all right. Cheers for that, mate. I've got to say, Man United didn't do too bad in the game. I don't know what you thought about the game. Let us know in the live chat. But I thought, Man United did reasonable in the game. But unfortunately, like most teams, when they come to St James's Park, they always find it hard to, be able to take on that high pressing style. Now, they try to do a bit of a clever move by making us kick towards the Gallagher end in the first half. And then, of course, that meant that we would have been kicking to the Leazas end in the second half. Unfortunately for, Man United, that didn't work for them. That little trick didn't work, so... But looking at the way we played in that game tonight, it was just a really good game. The referee had some dodgy moments, I've got to say. Unfortunately, Rob Jones, the Scouts referee, he did have some very dodgy moments. There was some moments where he could have done things a little differently in the game. He could have given chances to Newcastle at some points as well, and he wasn't giving them. But, looking at it, it's just one of them things, if we had had a few extra bodies in there as well, a few more first team players, that could have been a lot more tonight as well in the game. I mean, looking at the way, that game ended I'm looking on BBC Sport here, by the way, at the stats for how that game ended, and looking at the stats that were given during the game, we had 22 shots, 4 on target in the game. Man United had 8 shots and 1 on target in the game. So you could see right there, by that stat alone, just how dominant we were in the game. 7 corners we had in the game to 3 corners. At one point in the game that we were 4 up on corners. There was 13 fouls by Man United in the game. So that showed, exactly what their game plan was going into this, was to try and be as aggressive as possible and try and muscle their way through to getting a result in the game. And that didn't work, as it doesn't work. We've seen it with many teams where they've tried to muscle their way through at St James's Park or in games at Newcastle way. They've tried to do it and muscle their way through a game, and it just doesn't work because we'll have big lads in there, the likes of Bruno. We've got Big Joe in there as well, Joe Linton, who's a powerhouse of a player. Again, another player that was an absolute standout player tonight for us once again. Apart from Flash, of course, because he scored the winning goal. But Lewis Miley, little Louis, absolutely fantastic game by the lad. Once again, 17 years old, just banging in performances right, left and centre. I mean, he played 98 minutes against PSG at the Parc des Princes in France, of course, before he had to play this game. And now he's just played another 90 odd minutes in this game as well, you know. I don't believe he went and got subbed off in the game. No, he didn't. He played a full 99 minutes worth of football again. So this is only going to bode well for the lad, you know, going forward for Louis Smiley, little Louis Miley. You know, he's going to be getting a lot of minutes, and he's taken advantage of this moment where, you know, we don't quite have the players in that midfield area. So he's taken advantage of that moment. He was already getting minutes anyway, but he's starting to take advantage of that moment, and he's pushing himself further in there. We'll see, you know, Ellie Anderson is dropped off the pecking order a little bit because he's got a problem with his back still. But Lewis Miley's taking advantage of that. You know, he's jumping in there, he's getting in his chances, and he is just, you know, making it a very hard job for Eddie Howe to take him out of that role. Isak again tonight, fantastic performance by him. Miggy, fantastic. You know, just everybody was absolutely amazing in a black and white shirt tonight. There was some players on the Man United side of things that had some decent moments in the game, but just not enough for them to, you know, see anything out of this game. Just look at some of the comments he had on the side. Brad the lad there talking again. With turned up too late, I think. Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man City have lost their two into Chelsea on Wednesday, where I think, yeah, that is a pretty valid point there, mate, from yours. Let's go. Congrats, lads, from Calvin. Hi, mate. Welcome to the stream. Brought in Lascelles this week in my FPL team. Started trips 2, clean sheet and assist points 2. Lovely that. Congrats on that, Calvin, mate, for your FPL team. Kendo there in the chat as well. 9 minutes extra time, no chance getting past our Warriors. Every man was amazing for me. Man of the match was Tino, Bruno, and J7 and Miley. Fully agree with you there, Kendo, mate. Tino again, another player, you know, that I just don't know how, you know, when Dan Burn gets fit, he's going to get back into the side with the way Tino Livramento was playing. I really do think that, I hate to say it, you know, because I really do like Dan Burn, you know, but I think it's going to be Tino Livramento playing. Dan Burn's going to have to push his way back into the squad because, you know, there's no way he's getting straight back in. Not with the way Tino Livramento's putting in performances. Definitely not. There's a lot of the young lads, you know, Livramento, Miley, you know, Gordon, they're all making it hard for the other lads to get in there. You know, they're making it as hard as they possibly can, and that is good. That's what we want to see. You know, as football fans, we want to see that for the club. And I'm sure Brad the lad will be the same for Man United as well. I'm sure he will want to see that as well. Calvin, the same for his team, Liverpool. You know, we all want to see as much competition as we possibly can, you know, for positions in the team, because that means that your team is going forward. That means your team's got potential. That means that you're not stagnating in, you know, you're not at a point where your club is not moving anywhere. You want to see players, you know, getting their minutes, and especially young lads like Louis Miley. You know, you want to see him getting minutes in there. You want to see Tino getting minutes in there. You know, Trippier again, fantastic leader from the back again tonight. Jamal Lascelles just doing absolutely amazing, coming in there, you know, to make up the numbers whilst Sven Botman is out. But I'm sure, you know, even Sven Botman will have to work hard to try and get in there, you know. But I am sure that, you know, when Botman does come back, Lascelles will maybe take a back seat towards the bench. But it will be tough still for players to get in there, definitely. As Kendo has said down in the chat there as well, Lascelles was solid too. What a turnaround, exactly. A fantastic performance by the lads tonight. I mean, you can't fault any of them for that work ethic tonight out there. They've just absolutely put in the minutes, they've put in the work, and to play 98 minutes, you know, in France, and then come into this game against Man United. but before the game against PSG in France, we had to take on Chelsea, you know. So in the last 3 games, it's been pretty much, you know, European high level competition. Chelsea, PSG, Man United, you know, teams that have been playing in the Champions League and go, you know, for a pretty high amount of the time, you know, can get in there and win trophies. And we have, you know, shown that we are now in amongst that. We've been showing that since Eddie Howe's come in, you know, and long may it continue. Long may it continue. Another fantastic performance by the lads tonight. I'll try and say about the Premier League table as well. With that win, that means that we now leapfrog over Man United, who was above us heading into the game, but only by a point. And we now also leapfrog over Tottenham, and we take 5th place in the league. 14 games played, 18 plus on our goal difference, 10 more than, of course, the closest one to it, which is Tottenham. And then, of course, we are now 5th in the league, 26 points out of 14 games played, and we have got a pretty decent run of fixtures coming up. I will try and talk about them fixtures coming up. Of course, we've got Everton in the next game. That's down at Goodison Park. Then we've got, of course, the game against Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Then we've got the game against AC Milan in the Champions League at St James's Park. And then we've got, of course, Fulham at St James's Park as well, before we have to go into that quarter-final game down at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. So there's a lot of fixtures left to go. And after them games as well, we've got Luton at their ground, and we've got Nottingham Forest at St James's as well before we see out this year. So some pretty tough-ish games there, but games that I do believe, you know, that we can come away from and we can get results in. Everton, I definitely think we can get a result in that. The Tottenham game, we'll see what happens. The AC Milan game, I've got all the confidence that we can come away from that one, but we'll talk about them games when we get to them. But as for tonight, Newcastle have come away from the game 1-0 winners against Man United at St James's Park, a packed out St James's Park, in a very cold St James's Park as well, with all this snow that's lying around in the northeast off of the massive snowfall that we've been having. And we have come away from that game tonight 1-0 winners. Anthony Gordon on the 55th minute, and what a game it was. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you to everybody for watching, and please do consider hitting a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're new, as I'm on the road to 2K subscribers. I'll see you all in the next one. However, lads.